That head exploding means it's time to go. It's showtime, and we are back in the Agony Booth.
You want to know something funny? For some reason or another, I couldn't see the video. All I could see was you guys like mouthing along with Galron screaming, and that was 80 times more entertaining than Prophet and Lace.
Oh no!
And now you're gone. You just disappeared. Come on, man.
The Ferengi Alliance has cut him off.
So much.
The Grand Nagus didn't like that video. So.
He got the brunts. Yeah.
Okay, this is weird.
This is weird.
Are you all right?
Let's keep going forward. We can hear the dulcet tones of Jason.
All right, there we go. All right, so we are joined today by our lovely group, our main crew, VHS Jace, Jason, Roy Gaston, and Nita. But we are here with a special guest, and I'm Captain Joe Dove, in case you didn't know. But we have the amazing, the illustrious, the actor that's head of the brand new show, and he'll tell you all about it. It is Michael Chan, who was also an actor in Star Trek Discovery. Mike, please tell us.
How you doing? I didn't know you were Captain Joe Dove. I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm Captain Joe Dove.
I'm surprised. What am I doing here? What is this?
Starfleet Academy's changing to
Police Academy
down
these
the
days,
street,
the set, and then like a black van just showed up, tied me up, and it put me in front of this computer and said I have to talk to a bunch of people.
I told you not to repeat that.
All right.
Hello everyone. Thank you for having me. It's my first time. I'm really excited. And the show that you are talking about is Popularity Papers. I am one of the leads in that show, which is currently airing every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern on YTV, which is a Canadian family channel. We are currently only a Canadian show. However, we are seeking distribution in the US and internationally. So hopefully I'll get some good news from production and the rest of the world can see it. But if you're in Canada, YTV also, if you have Amazon Prime and you don't have cable, we're on the Stack TV subscription channel thing on Amazon Prime, which has live TV and on demand. So you can actually see all 5 episodes that have already been released on demand, and then episode 6 comes out on Monday.
Wow.
Amazing.
Awesome.
So we can watch it down here in Australia. I might be able to watch it through Amazon Prime. Beauty.
There you go. I'm going to hit up my Amazon Prime and take a look. And
so all my
personal friends will be like, Joe Dove's got Amazon Prime. Yeah, I went that low. It's
fancy.
So let's check out that synopsis. Michael, we wish you the best, and I can't wait to see the show. All right. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Prophet and Lace. Quark's mother and the Grand Nagus show up on Deep Space Nine, DS9, announcing a new amendment to the Bill of Opportunities he has instituted on the home planet of Ferenginar. And then the following follows up the announcement with that, due to the new amendment, chaos has followed it and he has been disposed.
Well done, Joe. That was pretty, because that was
the word
a
is
mouthful, that synopsis.
The word is deposed, not disposed.
I was going to give
I thought it was deposited.
He was dethroned.
He was dethroned.
Yes.
He was delobed.
Also, welcome back, Jason.
No.
Yes,
welcome back, Jason.
Here.
Yeah.
Being here is definitely a part of my day.
See what happens when you badmouth Tim Russ? Your connection.
I said nothing bad about Tim Russ. What are you doing to me?
Oh no,
Tim Russ is a treasure.
That's right.
Well, Cosmic Mom has the answer to what happened.
Jason, right?
You got to remember though, Cosmic Space Mom, he nearly was carjacked live on the show.
Yeah, that's right.
He was.
That actually happened. So.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
He was.
Yeah,
we were doing a Star
doing an
Trek show,
episode.
and the guy opens his door, mumbles something. Jace goes, "I don't know who you are," but yeah, it got scary there for a second.
Yeah, he just
he
wanted to say hello to somebody who was on the captain's quadrant.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Is that you talking shit? I remember that. All right, so let us go into
the first segment, Captain.
Yes, please.
I felt like that after watching this episode.
Oh my god.
I can't get over the Picard chicken legs we have to watch every time we're on Agony Booth.
All right, so Jason Roy Gaston, what the F did we just watch?
I cannot believe that this is the same television series that gave us Duet and Far Beyond the Stars. And then in the 6th season, in the first season, I might have excused it and said, oh, no, the show's just finding its legs. But no, the 6th season, the latter part of the 6th season, they give us Quark becomes a woman. I have no words. I have no words. This episode is just an hour of pure cringe. I have no other word for it. It's damaging, insulting cringe, and I hated every moment of it.
All right, Michael.
I wouldn't call it an hour of cringe. I think the first part of it. So I've only ever seen this episode once, and that was when I was quite young and on television. And then I never saw it again. So I didn't remember much. So just coming into it, it's almost like I'm watching it with fresh eyes. Like I've never seen it before. And now that I'm a lot older and I have a lot more perspective on life, on the world, and how things work, and you know, good and bad, I was sad. I was extremely, extremely sad because this episode opened with in a direction I thought could go really well, right? You're talking about like a capitalistic society, the ultimate capitalistic society, and also where it's essentially a patriarchy. Women are second-class citizens, and you know they're not working, they're naked everywhere. And then here is a guy who, okay, for profit reasons, decides that women should be equals to men. And that will just, you know, increase profits, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's about women's rights, but it's set in this society. So you can only go so far when you have this society. I thought, okay, this could really go well. And everything was great. Like the beats were great. The acting was great. When, what's her name?
Ishka?
Yes, when she showed up, the power she showed, the elation, and to be finally able to be herself and to be equals, all of this stuff was amazing to see. And that is like an 8 out of 10 episode right there, like half episode. But then she gets sick.
Yeah.
And everything else that follows completely destroyed any kind of possible message, good message that can come out of this episode. And it's an absolute tragedy because it's a 1 out of 10. If I could give it like a negative, I would actually.
Oh, wow.
I'm pissed because they missed such a huge opportunity. All they ended up doing is making being trans a joke. They in the end, it was a man who saved everything. And even the absolute last moment when Quark was talking to his employee and you know, having, you know, being in a woman's body and felt different and was different, you know, gave her a raise instead of being a douchebag, ended up in the last like second just turning around, wait, and goes off after her. I mean, going back to his pervy, disgusting self.
Yep.
I'm sorry, any possible message that they could have had was completely destroyed. And this is why I'm angry, because when you see the potential of an episode or a piece of art or a piece of work or a production, right? Kind of like the prequels for Star Wars for me, I can see where it could have gone well and it all fell apart. And that's what pisses me off, when there is the framework for good, for amazing. And then it just, I don't know what on earth happened here, but somebody should have been fired because that was dumb. And kudos to the actors for actually performing all this crap.
All right. With some passionate explanation and exposition from our good buddy Michael Chen. Nita.
You know, I think that it's interesting because I remember watching this when it first came out, and my thoughts about it then versus my thoughts about it now have changed a great deal. And that has to do with life experience and exposure. You know, yeah, and I agree with Michael. They had a great opportunity that they missed. It started out as a fun, good episode, and it kind of went downhill. And Mugi, best Ferengi ever. Okay, she is an amazing character. I absolutely love her. So I think they did her dirty by making her sick and not take the meeting.
And for me, I agree with everyone, but there was one thing that I oh, now Michael's the host. Congrats, Michael, you're promoted.
Thanks.
I apologize. There was a smudge in my, and I didn't know that would actually happen.
Thanks, Nita. She's out there.
You're the one sending all the kidnappers to everybody.
Yeah.
You really kidnapped them by accident.
Me too. So I remember watching this in the 90s with my family, and I remember being excited because the last all Ferengi episode was Little Green Men, I believe.
Oh, horrible.
And I love that episode. Little Green Men was a delight. I thought it was absolutely epic. There was like nods to early episodes in that same series that in that Little Green Men. It's like, wow, why does Gabriel Bell look like Captain Sisko? But that's not where the episode we're talking about. We're talking about Prophet and Lace, where there was a lot of things that went a lot of ways and not the way I expected. And this, I believe, is the second Moogie because the first Moogie passed away. So she was recast and, but I'd give her no qualms. I thought she did good as Moogie and just the voice was a little bit different. But my biggest highlight of this episode was Wallace Simpson returning as Grand Nagus Zek.
Wallace Shawn.
Wallace Shawn, excuse me. Thanks for on time correcting. That's great. And I really enjoy every time that guy's on. If you may remember him from The Princess Bride,
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable. All right, and then VHS Jace. What did you think?
I agree with Nita, Jason, and Michael, but I decided to look at this from a different perspective this week because I, like everyone else, super offended at watching that episode today. Mm-hmm. With the knowledge and the experience and the evolution of society, I could tell. But I decided to look back and going, again, this is a product of its time. Doesn't excuse it at all. And even in 1998, you should have had a good sense of what was going on. Do I think they understood that them doing a trans portrayal would be so offensive? They wouldn't, because I feel, and I think it's Alexander Siddig who did direct this episode, correct. Dr. Bashir, I think he was trying to harken back to a Billy Wilder, Some Like It Hot type of thing of the old slapstick, let's put a guy in a girl's outfit. Mm-hmm. The very old school 50s, 60s kind of comedy stuff, which even does not tonally work. Because like you said, you got the first half, which is really, even in 1998, women's rights were a massive thing. You could have just doubled down on that whole thing. I don't know if this is the fact, but I bet you bottom dollar there was a decision made at some point in production to add this comedic element to it. Because the comedy in the first half works well, and that's just the natural comedy we get, them bouncing off of each other as the characters, That kind of dynamic as a family works well. You don't need to add that extra kind of slapstick dynamic, kind of cheap, low-hanging fruit plot line by putting a male character in a woman's dress, But it's not, definitely not a great episode. However, I did see this meme, and I do want to throw this up because it made me giggle a little bit.
Moogie Nights.
Moogie Nights. I'm sorry. It's a cheap joke, but I did laugh at it.
I love it. That was hilarious.
But yeah, no, it definitely wasn't. It definitely was very disappointing in season 6, episode 20 or 21, that, I would have thought they would have gone, wow, we don't have a lot of time left to wrap this series up. We've got this and next season. Every episode really needs to be dealing with resolving these characters. This is, by definition, a filler episode.
Yes, absolutely. And I also found it interesting that it didn't connect to the Deep Space Nine larger story with the Dominion at all.
No, not at all.
I was wondering how they talked Bashir into doing the surgery, considering that he was basically treating war wounded the entire time.
Yeah.
Hey, could you put down that arm and, help us change Quark into a woman? Will it get rid of you?
Yeah, they never discussed that, which I thought was weird. Because
They didn't even mention anything with Dominion.
He would have this conversation. If you take a look at Bashir as a doctor throughout Deep Space Nine, that would be exactly the conversation he would bring up, because it's a matter of ethics. Was there really a point in changing him?
They
Not
bribed him.
really.
I don't know if they're just thinking like that back then. I don't know if they're emotionally
I guess
enough
you
at
could
that
argue
time culturally.
they always do this for away teams, right?
Yeah.
They have the technology to make you alien, kind of.
Yeah.
So if this is a mission for the good of, Ferenginar,
Planet, yeah.
maybe they convinced Bashir, and then I don't know, they just decided not to show it, just to skip over it for comedy.
And they should have just skipped over the whole second act, really.
I mean, he's there, right? Bashir is there. He's standing there wearing his little red smock, and
Yeah, he was there for 5 seconds. Oh, and did he even say anything? I can't remember.
Yes, he
He
did.
got his
'cause he's the
payday,
one who's-
though.
Her words before she passed out was, "This is all Quark's fault."
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That
You're
is
right.
Yeah.
That's an awesome line. I did
That
like
was an awesome line.
He got his double payday.
All right, Nita, let's roll those
Joe.
one. Yeah.
Sorry, before you go to the comments,
Uh-huh.
I've been getting a lot of.
Oh, here
Well,
we go.
I've got to explain it to Michael quickly. Michael, if you don't know, Joe has a dog called
Oh, no.
Teddy. This is Teddy right here.
Yeah.
A very cute dog.
Yeah, he
What
made
you
his
don't know,
con
Michael,
debut this weekend.
I was originally the science officer of the crew.
Yes.
And, this dog comes along and just takes my job. So, far be it
It's
from me.
probably
I
Teddy.
decided to investigate a bit about this dog. And it's a long story you can watch on previous episodes. I mean, some of the highlights was he was on Tucker Carlson promoting that he thinks more guns is a solution. Which, coincidence that he's on Tucker Carlson and Tucker gets fired? Just saying.
Yeah.
But however, this week... So I've decided that this is it, Michael. I am going to commit myself to investigating what this dog is up to in this new segment called...
Ironically, that's
Yes.
his nickname, Teddy Bear.
This is the Teddy
Oh my
Barrel
gosh.
exclusive. And this
I hate
week...
this podcast so much.
Yeah, I know. Too bad, Jason. You're getting it thick and strong.
Oh man!
Now, this week, Teddy...
agony.
Teddy was at the con with Joe. Joe went to a con. Where was it?
It was the Philadelphia Galactic Diversity and Inclusion Con.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, and everybody loved Teddy, didn't they? They just
Yeah,
loved him.
yeah.
Here's a clip here. You can see a clip here. That's Penny
Gerald.
Johnson.
Yep.
Gerald. Penny Gerald from,
Deep
of
Space
course,
Nine.
the Orville, Deep Space 9 and 24. And look at her. Look how much she's loving Teddy. Everybody loves Teddy, right? But they didn't see what I got a hold of, right?
Uh-oh.
So, Joe, I need you to explain something to this.
Sure.
How
yeah,
is this
yeah.
appropriate? How is this appropriate?
What actually happened?
That ain't cool, man. That
No,
ain't
no.
cool,
We
you
were.
know?
My wife never got him neutered. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not good. Yes, Michael, you got a
Is
question?
Teddy still alive?
Yes. Teddy.
Well,
Then those
Teddy-
Klingons have some explaining to do.
It
Oh,
would
they
have
have their honor.
it would have been dishonorable to make him.
Yeah, it was
stop.
dishonorable. No. It's dishonorable to get humped. They have to do something about it.
Agreed,
Well,
Michael.
The
They should
concern
have.
was he was at the con, clearly having fun with Klingons, but he did a runner. Joe doesn't want to talk about it, but he ran away. Luckily, they found him 30 minutes later at a furries con. Seemed to be enjoying that.
Which one is he?
Yeah, he felt good about it because he's with his people. So
Yeah, that's
So
true.
yeah, that was good to see.
See, that's
that
why
happening.
he was humping the leg. He was getting some good yiffing in.
Yeah.
That's it. So, and finally, if you want to know what's happened to Teddy at the end of the day, of course, we know Teddy joined Scientology recently for some spiritual alignment, and now is the captain of the Sea Care vessel.
Wow, look at that.
So he too is
Oh,
a
he got
captain now.
promoted.
Even the dog's
Free
captain.
win.
So
Or as
that's
far
what's
as
happening.
Joe.
Yeah.
So that's Teddy, and I'll be back next week with another. really.
The
Yeah.
content is trash, but you gotta love the graphics on the show.
What can I say?
Tell us how you really feel, Jace. Tell us how you really feel. All right,
Jace
let's
is
go to
just a
those
little
comments.
jealous because no one's mentioned Battle Cat and
Or his
Murder
other-
Beans.
Jace is the crazy cat lady of the podcast.
Yeah.
I only have 5
Hate my
right now.
cats.
5. Wow.
I have 5. I have the 2 tuxedos. I got Battle Cat. I got Demona, and I've got Murder Bean. So yes,
Yeah,
I'm-
5 cats.
I have
Comments,
lots of
Nita.
cats.
Comments, Nita.
Yes, let's go to the comments. We have our good friend from Nerdy Up North. He says, "Hi, Captain. Goodwill here. I hope it goes well tonight. I can't wait to watch it back. Looking forward to being on next week. Much love from the UK. We are getting UK love.
Yeah,
He is very nervous about the wheel of agony this week.
yeah, he
We
is
all
very
are.
nervous about what's going to be
Yeah.
spun.
The wheel has been cruel to us lately.
Yeah.
A cosmic mom straight out of the nursing home. I think her gangster side is a
Yeah.
emerging.
When she
I
says
think
straight out of
so.
the nursing home, hopefully it's still
Yeah.
she's still in there because
No,
go far.
I might have to school you on rap now, bro. Not right now, later. We've got Devin. Say hello, everyone, to our
Live
friend
long and
Devin.
prosper. What's up, Devin?
Yes. And Cosmic Mom sends a special hello to Michael.
Hello.
Literally just said your
What?
name. What's up?
And we have here,
Jason.
oh yes,
Yeah.
I have
What's
mentioned
kidnapped?
that before. She concluded that he was kidnapped. Absolutely.
Yes.
Devin says, I actually forgot this episode existed.
A lot of us tried.
we
Cannot
attempted
unsee everything.
to. Yeah, you cannot see it.
Yes, we also have Sarah here. Hello,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Hi.
Yes, and someone said, Devin says, Little Green Men is my
It's such a
favorite
great
D Space Nine episode.
episode.
It is my least favorite. It is
Wow.
not. Yeah, not. I can't
That's
get
good.
through
I mean,
it.
everybody's got a difference of opinion. Some are wrong.
We have
That's okay.
we have someone new here, Captain.
Yes,
Let's
Kelly.
say hello to Kelly.
What's up, Kelly? Kelly,
Hi,
show us
Kelly.
Twitter. How are you? I think I
How
saw her.
are you?
Show.
And
You
we
will
have
regret it.
my number one of the USS Caliente,
Navia.
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 Yes.
One of the
Navia,
brilliant
too.
co-hosts of Sci-Fi Queens.
Yes.
Yes. And that's right. And she is one of the sci-fi queens.
Okay.
That is what we have thus far. I throw
All
that
right.
to you,
All right.
Captain.
Let's go.
Next
Let's
segment.
move on to.
It looks like gold. Tastes like gold.
It is gold.
Man,
Redeeming features time.
this is the
Oh.
harder part of this episode. Let's start with Jason Roy Gaston.
Oh my God!
Oh, Lord.
Why?
Interior features.
Come on, give us some good things about it.
It ended. Okay, I'm going to build off of some of the things that Michael said. I think that there was a crumb of a good story in this episode. I'm one of those people. I like the Ferengi comedy episodes. I enjoyed them. I always thought they were fun little palate cleansers interspersed between all these very heavy war episodes. I wanted to see more of the female liberation of Ferenginar. And for a minute, I actually thought they were going to do a Ferenginar gets invaded episode. And whenever Quark is going to Ops saying, we think our planet's been invaded and nobody's listening to him, I thought, what if it really was invaded? And the Federation's like, who cares? It's just Ferenginar. But that's honestly where this episode falls apart, is that we have this gigantic... Oh, it has appeared.
Hey, Battle Cat.
Battle Cat.
And
We have two
Bean.
cats.
Yeah,
On
no.
it. And the end of this show, he's gonna have all these cats on his.
Pretty much. There'll be my skeleton with all these cats chewing on it. And it would still be a more enjoyable experience than...
Oh,
my
damn.
God! Wow.
So anyway, I just feel like we had all of these little beans of good story in there, but none of it was earned. The Ferenginar, the Ferengi suffrage movement, so to speak, happens, but none of it's earned. We don't see any of the good parts. We don't see anything that would convince us that it would otherwise happen. I wanted to see this great upheaval on the Ferengi homeworld. I wanted to see how it was affecting, but instead we're told about it, which is just a terrible way to tell a story. You know, that's the point of television, is that it's a visual medium. Don't tell us what's happening, show us what's happening. And again, I know we had budgetary constraints, but I wanted to see this. So if I had a positive about this, it would be that the episode had a few partial glimmers of what would have otherwise been a good story if it had not been handled so utterly, awfully, horribly.
Okay. Michael, please.
For me, it's the acting. It's just, despite the absurdity and just how bad things were, everyone committed fully to what was happening, and that is very hard to do when it's this bad. Trust me, I would know. So I've been in a lot of bad stuff that I had to commit to, and it's one of the hardest things to do.
See, now you're going to have to dish, my friend. You're going to have to dish. What was it?
Not in this agony booth. I'm already in enough pain, guys. Don't make me go there. No, but it's great to see these professional actors commit to everything, no matter how bad it got. And the performances they gave, considering, were incredible. They were all on point. That is the biggest redeeming quality of this episode for me.
All right, Nita.
I think that, again, the acting was phenomenal. Okay. And Quark was, he was really fully committed to this role. He was very convincing. I thought he did a great job, but if there was this whole missed opportunity to really see the evolution of Ferenginar. Okay. One thing that we see in TNG is a different kind of Ferengi. Okay. I think that in Deep Space Nine, one of the many things that they were able to accomplish that being in a starship would have not been able to accomplish, is because they are in a space station, is that the evolution of a species can be seen. The backstories of these species can be seen and developed. And one of those species were the Ferengi. And we began to understand why is it that you didn't see female Ferengis, and the culture and the mindset of the Ferengis and the economy of the Ferengi. But then we also see evolution, because Moogie has been trying to change the female footprint on Ferenginar every episode she's on. And we see that, and we get this episode where you think this is going to happen, or at least the beginning of it is going to happen, and it's taken from us, because once again, the idea that a woman needs to be saved by a man comes into play. And as men, maybe that's not something that is personal, but women find that very personal. It's like, no, we can handle these things, because who was better than Moogie at business in those group of people that were there? None of them.
Right.
No.
None of them could do what she did.
Yep. Jace.
Look, yeah, I think some of the good parts was Jeffrey Combs saying Jeffrey.
Yeah, Liquidator Brunt.
Brunt, which is an interesting name. It reminds me of a name starting with C, which I can't say. You know what? I'm just going to say it. Carl. Reminds me of the name Carl. No, Brunt is so slimy, and I just like the addition. It made me wish that the episode really focused down on the loss of power, not being Grand Negus anymore. I would have loved to have seen that play out where, Wallace Shawn was a Grand Nagus, and what would happen then, and what would happen to the power dynamic with the assumed protection that Quark had. I thought that would have been really interesting. Brunt was great. There was a couple of really great one-lines in there, like what Mookie said, it's all his fault, which I thought was, and there's a couple of other great lines in there as well. But it's really hard out of a pile of dog poo to find gold, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I do though like the relationship that you see with Moogie and her sons.
Yes,
She's
yeah.
very
I mean, they
clear.
come to a,
Yeah, she's very clear about what she thinks of each of them.
Yeah, yeah.
No holds bars. I love that.
I really enjoyed the phone conversations they were making, especially Aaron
that little
Eisenberg.
montage.
Yeah, that little montage of the phone calls reminded me of like a Rocky montage. I loved it. And I also like the dueling bodyguards for the Neguses. I thought,
Oh yes,
yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, did they just get basketball players and just do their makeup so that they look, because they had no lines, they just came in and looked menacing, and I thought that was really cool.
And then when they were going at each other, Brunt and Quark, like one of the big guys steps forward, and then the other one, and Quark just this tiny little hand on this giant. He holds back. Like
okay, what are you gonna do, dude?
Yeah, exactly.
right. All right, let's move on.
I think it's time for a commercial break. We'll be back, guys, in about 90 seconds, I suggest.
Starfleet Command, if you can read us, do not, repeat, do not send help. We're lost. Board Starfleet. The Borg have returned. Repeat, the Borg have returned.
A mission of danger, decision, and surprise. You are a Starfleet cadet. You must defend your starship, and only you can save the Federation from the Borg. John Delancey, Q, leads you in the ultimate interactive movie, Star Trek Borg. You determine the outcome. Battle the Borg on your computer with this spectacular CD-ROM set.
Yes, our
jamming
sponsor.
to the music.
That's pretty good.
yeah, I was.
Did anyone ever play that game, by the way? For the
I
first
did
Yeah, my
not,
weapon
and I
against
regret
the
it
wall.
every day.
Yeah,
I
I
never-
regret it. As soon as I found that commercial, I was like, "Where is that game?" I would
You can
I
play.
get
didn't
it
even know
eBay.
it existed.
Yeah, I didn't know
You
it
can
existed
also
either.
watch it on YouTube anytime you want.
Yeah,
to.
that's probably
Looks fun.
I want to put it in a Windows 95 operating machine and play it old school.
Oh my goodness! Imagine
My Pentium 3.
Would it be on good old games?
yeah. I've got a what is it, 3.5 floppy?
Whoa! Stop
the
right there. It's a
floppy
kid show.
disk.
Yeah, the floppy
man,
disk. No,
come on.
not like that.
Dude.
Not like that. Not like that.
That's
I've
not
got
something to brag about, by the way.
I have the
They have
original
pills for that.
TOS CD-ROM. Oh, not CD. It was 3 floppy ROM game where you had like
Joe!
20 different ROMs coming at you at once. It was crazy.
I'm hearing about 3.5-inch floppy and 3 ROMs are coming your way. You know, I don't kink shame, but my gosh,
You complain about
Oh
my
my God.
When
Teddy
he-
joke.
You guys
When he
remember
comes-
the five?
when he
was it
comes
five,
towards
the
you as
two
he's
five?
screaming "Moogie,"
All right. So now our next segment, please.
Our next segment.
Now, why don't you go back to your quarters? I'll be along shortly to say hello.
It's so,
So
menacing,
charming.
it's
I
That's
know
so
he's menacing
scary.
in that little clip of Garrick, but I'm like, yeah, totally come around.
yeah.
Like, I'll hang out. It's worth the
All right.
risk.
All right. So the aftermath. It's like what things that stand out in this episode that
It stands out that this was this the last Ferengi centric episode of
Yes.
the
I
series?
think it was. This
Yeah.
this stopped them from doing any more.
yeah, I
Oof.
think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
There's a way to go. Way to go out.
Wait a minute. Didn't they have another one where Moogie got kidnapped by the
No, that was earlier.
Davidian?
That was earlier.
Or that
Yeah,
was
earlier.
before that one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, didn't
You know
they
what
have
I
one where
was-
No, they do have another one because that's when Rom becomes Grand Nagus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
they do.
Right. That's right.
The
We
smartest
know
choice.
nothing on this show. We're terrible.
I
Hey,
blame no one
By
but
the
my.
way, too, I was watching it, and when Nog walks in, I'm like, oh, this is pre-Nog losing his leg, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That
think.
happens.
Because that's how I refrain it now. Every time I see Nog in an episode, I'm like, did he have his leg or not? Oh, because it changes that character in such amazing ways and deals with, post-traumatic stress disorder and things like that.
That was a great episode.
It was
I
wonderful how they handled that character after.
I
It
think-
was an excellent turning point for Nog.
Yeah, Rom and Nog had the best overall arcs for the series. I think.
You know, Rom,
being not
like-
a main character,
You know, isn't he, that actor just knocks it out of the park every single time he plays
Yeah.
Rom, doesn't he?
Yup.
Aaron
Because
was
it's
such
so
an underrated
Michael
actor.
might be
yeah.
able to comment on this, but he balances that line of extreme slapstick comedy without going over the cliff. Because it could turn really camp, couldn't it, Michael? Like over the top camp. So I think Rom, the actor, really finds that good balance.
Yeah.
Keep it entertaining, but he's a goofy, lovable character.
Yeah.
But smarter than people give him credit for.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
And-
definitely smarter.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's a wonderful thing, isn't it? That we get to discover that about him. They ensure that that's the last memories we have of Rom as we leave the series.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, not even in the fiction do we have any other idea of what happens with Rom. So I've always wondered, okay, what's Rom doing now as Grand Nagus? Did people
Whatever Rom wants to do.
Yeah,
Yep.
did they revolt, or is he kind of keeping everybody in check? Because knowing
I'm
him,
sh-
he's an engineer. He could probably spy on everybody.
I'm sure Rom and Lita probably led Ferenginar into a golden age of progressivism and
Yeah.
profit. I'm sure.
Mm.
And I like to think he's surrounded by a dozen Ferengi kids. You know, Rom's going to be an awesome dad, right? You
Yeah.
know that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I hope, that he's got a bunch of kids. and
I
driving
always
them nuts.
wanted to see what an offspring of a Bajoran and a Ferengi would
Oh,
look
you know,
like.
there's probably a website out there that does that for you. It's the internet, I'm sure.
Blend
Oh
the
my
species.
goodness.
And if there isn't, I've just copyrighted that idea. Thank you very much.
Michael, anything you want to add to this?
Not really. I just
Not really.
I've really already, I think, set the aftermath. This is a tragedy of how they took something that could have done a lot of good and had a great message and just destroyed it.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you there, Michael. Do you think, and you probably know, you may not be able to answer, but I wonder if when they started writing Discovery, they looked at some of these older episodes and went, we need to address these horrible ways they're handling progressive subjects. Because this would have been one I would have played in the writer's room. We do the opposite of this. That's what we're doing with that.
Discovery wasn't even supposed to be Discovery the way it was presented. Originally, it was supposed to be an anthology series where every episode followed a different, kind of like short tracks.
Oh,
Wow.
I didn't know.
I didn't know that.
But it evolved into Discovery being a series instead of an anthology series, like a narrative series. And Michael Burnham was supposed to be like a dude. And then, I don't know, they really liked Sonequa Martin Green, so they went with her, but kept the name. So that's why she's Michael Burnham.
Oh,
And
inside scoop.
I will say that I don't. I mean, we all know that Star Trek has always been progressive, right?
Mhm.
And I don't think they went into it thinking like we have to have all of these different progressive things shoved into this show. But I just think that the way things happen is, I mean, we live in now, so the people on this ship and the things that we see are representative of now. And if people don't, some people are going to push back because they have memories of what was decades ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, because all the people that always talk about how insanely progressive it is, doesn't that make it very sad that something like Discovery, which, let's be honest, is actually pretty, it is progressive for TV, but shouldn't all TV be like that? Because that's the world we live in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You know what I'm
They've
saying?
always been ahead of the game.
To be
though, haven't
to be
they?
called progressive for just depicting the world
Yeah.
with the diversity that we see.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm very happy we have a black female lead. That is 100% necessary. We had an East Asian captain, which was also amazing to see, right? In Georgia, all of these things, these progressive things that they had, is very important to TV, important to media, and important to have. But at the end of the day, this is representative of our world, which is how the media should be.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, hold up a mirror, basically.
That's what I mean. I just don't think they were trying to just shove things in. I think it's just byproduct of them living in the now. They were able to deal with issues that Trek has always dealt with, but dealt with it the way we do now, and also visually look like what we are now.
Yeah.
I mean, we can all go back to that episode, The Child, with Data. I mean, it's funny, that was made almost 10 years prior to this episode, dealing with probably very unusual subject matter for the general audience. You know,
Gender identity.
Gender identity episode.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I always think that's been one of the greatest gifts of Star Trek, though, that they are ahead of the other shows in regards to actually dealing with real life situations, more so than I think the others follow, but they're never usually brave enough to be the first cab off the rank.
No.
To tackle those subject matters. So yeah. Like
I'll give you a good example in Disco, like Adira, right? They didn't. There's some people who think like they had Adira and Gray and brought in those actors to be woke. I hate that word, but that's what they think it is. But it's not. Like Adira, when they started the show, they didn't know they were a she, like the actor, right? But then Blue Del Barrio, they're young, so they were trying to figure themselves out, and in real life figured out that they were a they them. So and figured out who they were authentically, and it just so happened it matched the character arc. So to honor the actor, they had Adira, have that one throwaway line. Oh, it's my, they them, right? And that's a big deal. But the bigger deal is just how easily it happened and how quickly it happened and how accepting everything was. There's, I know some people are like, oh my God, it's a big deal. No, it wasn't. It was one line. Stamets says, okay. And that's the end of it.
Yeah.
From now on, moving forward. And that's how easy life should be. That is
seamlessly.
Yeah.
It's seamless, it's smooth, and it should be how our world is. Right?
Yeah.
The
other shows, if they had tackled that subject, that's a whole episode for them.
It is. Yeah.
And that would be like you just said, it's a big deal. So we're going to do 45 minutes just on this.
Right.
You're right. They handle it like, hey, it's the line.
That's the progressiveness of Trek. I mean, they're in that future. They're pretty far out. This stuff is done, man. Right? There's no need for a 45-minute episode about it in that future.
Right.
So, but the progressive part of this is that they were able to have it just happen. Yeah. And it's like, okay, yeah, sure. And move on.
It was, I do remember that line, and Michael Burnham like, okay, almost like, it's so not a big deal. Why are you telling me this right now?
Yeah. Okay, but the ship's on fire. Can we put that out? Yeah,
like deal with.
Yeah. There's rocks exploding at me. Can we fix this? Yeah.
I love you, support you, but we're about to die, so I gotta keep moving.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jace or Nita, do you have any other?
I think that for me personally, I feel like they had this great opportunity to explore this part of the Ferengi culture that was, slowly every time Mugi was in an episode, it would come up about women wearing clothes, about women earning profit. Profit was a very big thing it is a very big thing for the Ferengis, right? And so that was something that she wanted for the women in her culture. And it would have been a great episode to kind of bring that search of going to that place where we're going to say, okay, we're going to start making changes. This would have been the episode to do that. And then when Ron becomes Grand Nagus, he could go forward and move that along.
Right.
But they missed that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted the whole episode to be about Sluggo Cola.
That
Missed
where that
marketing opportunity.
yeah,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Sluggo
You know where
Cola.
that actor is from? The guy who was had a Sluggo.
I know he's
He
Henry
looked
Gibson.
familiar.
I
Who
know
was
that.
He was in the Laugh Room with.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Goldie
no.
Hawn.
He was
Laugh-In.
the
Laugh-In.
Nazi
Laugh-In.
from Blues Brothers, wasn't he? The head
He was
Nazi
also the Nazi from Blues Brothers. Yes.
Yeah,
Same
Henry
guy.
Gibson is an amazing actor. He's been in everything.
Yeah. So rest in
Very
peace.
talented man.
Indeed.
And
yes.
he lived to a ripe old age. I think
Yeah.
he had
It's
quite
like
a long
90
life,
or
Henry.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to. Are we in the agony?
Yeah,
Booth?
we're doing. It's time of the week.
It's
No, we're not doing
time.
agony wheel yet. We've got one more segment before.
Oh.
It's time for stupid Star Trek questions.
All right. do we have
Okay, our stupid Star Trek question this week comes from one of our co-hosts, Annie. Annie, thanks for this question. And the question is, in Picard's time, we see the crew members who have pets. Is there a chief veterinary officer like there is a CMO?
Well,
It's a fair question.
I think that we need to look back to the episode Genesis because we see that among her many talents, Beverly Crusher also is a vet.
Oh
Yeah.
wow! So it's
Because
double duty.
honestly, in the future, whenever you have 24 alien races serving on board a starship, veterinary skills would be more useful than human doctoring skills because a vet has to operate on many different species of animals, many different varieties of animals, and therefore somebody in the future who practices medicine would be better trained as a vet than they would as a human doctor because speciality is a killer in the future, at least a job killer. So Bev is a vet.
Wow.
There you are.
Yeah.
I don't know what this says about me, but if I had a cat, I'd really want to send him to the doctor from Lower Decks.
Yeah.
But that's true though, because in Genesis she took care of Spot.
Yes.
And if you I watch a lot of animal documentaries and one of the things that they tell you is the training after you get out of veterinary school is really intense because there's so many species to learn about, so much that you can specialize in that it's almost impossible to learn everything just in the school alone. So the post educational training for veterinary schools is pretty intense. And I think that is absolutely true. If you have someone who can, take care of animals and humanoids are not so extremely different. A lot of us take the same medications. A lot of us have the same conditions, and even psychological issues.
I don't know, Keita. I've
you
never
know?
wanted to. I don't know, Nita. I've never wanted to go take a shit in a kitty litter. Don't know how close I am.
That would be a
Michael,
huge killer.
in Star Trek Discovery, there's not a vet, is there? The doctor would be the vet, correct?
No. But on Enterprise there was. It was Phlox. He has degrees in interspecies veterinary medicine.
Veterinary medicine,
Yeah.
that's right. He specifically said that was one of his degrees. You know, and I'm thinking that maybe in order to qualify as a starship doctor, one of the things you have to have is perhaps do a rotation in animal medicine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Thanks, Annie, for that question. And that concludes another episode of...
Join us next week for more stupid Star Trek questions.
Yes, and if you have a stupid Star Trek question, you can be sure to reach out to us on our Twitter at Spectrum Sancto and add. And if you want to see more of that little cute, is that Murder Bean?
That's
I thought you were
Murder
talking
Bean.
about me. Yes, this is Murder Bean.
Yeah.
Look at those black, soulless eyes that crave nothing but violence.
There it is. There he is.
Murder Bean.
Oh,
All right,
so
Joe.
cute. So are we
Is it
ready?
time?
It's time.
It's...
Experience Beach.
Here we are,
So
the Wheel
dramatic.
of Agony.
It's
Now,
so
Michael,
dramatic.
Woo!
just because you're a guest here, we have in red, maroon, light red, we have some of the worst episodes we feel that, and we've already covered a lot, but there's still plenty to choose from. The blue slices, however, are a little piece of heaven. That's the ecstasy booth. If we're lucky enough on there, we'll be actually watching a good episode of Star Trek. So let's do it, family. Let's do
The
it.
Wheel of Agony.
Is there no one's
Come
got any
on.
fears? Any? Okay, let's bet. Who thinks they're going to land on what? Joe, what do you think we're landing on this week?
I think it would be hysterical if we landed an ecstasy episode and we end up in the pale moonlight because I haven't seen that in a while and I'd like to watch it again.
I
Awesome.
want to watch that one too. I was
Jason?
thinking.
Oh,
I-
Where
man.
does your heart take you?
I just see I lost it. The one where Beverly bangs a ghost.
Oh, the cat.
Sabrosa.
That gets a lot of meme
I
play
thought
nowadays.
that was the actual
Yes.
title.
Beverly
Beverly
Bangs
bangs a
a
ghost.
Beverly-
She's ghost bangers. Da-da-da-da-da.
It's the wrong word.
Who are you going to call?
Michael, what
Nita.
are you? What about you?
You didn't light that candle.
Sorry, Nita, you go first, and then we'll give Michael a chance.
Yeah.
I want the pale moonlight. Hello.
Yeah, there you
Hello.
go. And Michael, might be a bit hard for you to read on screen. I can bring up the list for you if you like.
I'll just say I want to see you guys do Coda. So
Oh, okay, Coda. Here we go. Well, let's find out, guys. As
Here
we
we go.
spin the Wheel of Agony.
The Wheel of Agony.
There it lands,
moonlight.
nobody
We need to
knows.
animate Galron throwing
What
up at the end.
is
Blech.
it?
Oh no! Ah!
Well, we're
wow.
TNG.
TNG Haven.
I don't remember that
Oh
one.
no!
I don't know
first
who's,
season.
who's applauding that in the background, but it ain't me.
Isn't that the
Is-
one where it's a female-dominated planet and and Riker has to wear the?
No, that's
No, that was
Angel One.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Angel One.
Haven,
Yeah.
isn't that the first Luoxana Troy episode?
I think it might be, actually.
Yes!
Oh.
I think it
Oh.
might be.
TNG
absolutely.
Haven.
Here we go.
Is everybody Googling it right?
Yeah,
Oh,
everybody-
Yeah.
Armin
One to
Shimmerman's
the
first
three
episode.
Because I noticed everybody started looking down. Like, where was
Armin
she?
Shimmerman's plays the box. It's Luoxana Troy's first episode, and it is also the one where we meet Deanna Troy's fiance.
Wow, there we go. We got that.
It's
Michael,
so
if
bad.
you're watching out there, because you're our guest next week from Nerdy Up North, sucked in, buddy. You got to join it.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
From
Michael
one Michael
Chan's
to
like,
another.
thank
Yeah,
God
I
I'm
was
on
gonna say,
our
wait, I
next
just
week.
realized that both of our guests are Michael.
Yeah, we're going
Yup,
for a whole
yup.
Michael thing.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
a Michael block. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
At least you didn't have to watch Haven, Michael.
No.
Oh, Code of Honor.
You could
No,
watch it in
or-
solidarity.
yeah, Code
with
of
us,
Honor
though.
was the.
Oh my god!
that
that
was
was the
so
worst.
hard. That
That
one.
was the worst. Yeah.
You know the guy in that commercial we watched who said his favorite episode was Code of Honor. You know if he did a DS9 episode, he would love Profit and Lace.
Yeah.
Just go from racism to
My
sexism
favorite,
and
Profit and
transphobia.
Lace.
Oh, you know the guy took off a mask and it was Teddy.
Oh, no, not Teddy. Oh,
Hey,
come on,
I'm
Teddy.
starting to convince the others now, Captain.
See, maybe it's
that
beginning, it's
there's a
beginning.
seedy side to that lovable dog of yours. I won't give up.
Oh man. Oh man. But before
That's
we
it.
go to our next segment, I just want to throw out a friendly reminder that, as you know, we have Michael here. We did a great interview with him, so please check that out. And we also just recently interviewed Bruce Horrick, who played Hemmer from Strange New Worlds, and their season 2 is coming out in June, so please be sure to check that out.
That was great. That was fun.
And you can meet Nita and myself in person, live, in reality, no hologram, at Trek Long Island. Ladies and gentlemen, Nita and I are going to the Hyatt Regency Long Island at 1717 Motor Parkway in Hauppauge, New York, where we will be elbowing with all the stars of Star Trek, just like I did last week at the Galactic DGI.
And I've been told to behave.
You might have been there, but Teddy was the star.
Yeah, he sure was, man.
I started calling Joe. Was it Mike Kabowski from Monsters Inc? Because
Mike Wazowski. Oh my
God! Thank you for that.
Mike Wazowski.
I was going to say Lebowski. I was thinking long movie.
That's a completely different different
Either way, every time you saw a shot of Teddy, you would just see the corner of Joe's
You see my shoulder, my belly button.
Poor Joe.
God. My foot. There's my foot. You see, guys?
But just like Michael, just like Mike, you were excited about it every time. Oh, there's my shoulder.
I was. Guys, look, I'm in the highlight reel. They're like, where? All right, you see the parts where they put my dog? Oh, yeah. That's my shoulder. That's my cheek. That's my man boob. That's everything.
But I'm just impressed, though, honestly, that Teddy was able to handle all that ruckus of people, and he was so well behaved.
Oh, he loved it,
and people just loved him and gravitated to him. I mean,
Mm.
he's out there in people's TikTok. That is not ours.
Yeah, I saw him on somebody else's TikTok the other day. I was like, who's this?
Can we trust him? Can we trust him? He's clearly trying to make a move to go to another podcast. It's clear. He's trying to dump us.
He's already down.
Hey, you guys want some breaking news?
Yeah.
Breaking news.
I have been approved for Media Pass to Dallas Fan Expo.
Whoa!
So,
Wow.
if you would like to meet me,
Well, he's more famous.
I will be at the Dallas Fan Expo, which is going to be, the date is not on here,
Somewhere.
June 9th, 10th, and 11th at the K. Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center.
There we go.
Come see me and feel the love.
But here's
What
the
do you mean, come
question.
see you? Are you got a booth or something? What
Yeah,
are you
you're gonna
doing
get a
there,
booth?
Jace?
No, I'm just going to be wandering around.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
I thought. Yeah.
My
okay.
question is, are you bringing Battle Cat or Murder Beam with you?
I don't know. They are not good in public. Last time I took Battle Cat to the vet, 4 people were put in the hospital.
Oh, no, stop.
I was going
They're
to say,
all still in intensive
if
care.
you see Jason walking in with those cats, you know some sort of super villain event is just about to happen.
Yeah.
Run.
Wow. So congrats, Jason.
Congratulations.
All right,
sure
we got
to
all
go
our
find
con plugs in now.
Yeah, all our con
everyone.
plugs
We'll
are
plug
in.
cons. How about you, Michael? You got a con coming up you want to talk about? Or
No, I don't have any cons because nobody wants to invite a C-list actor.
Oh,
Come,
don't say
Michael.
that. You're
Michael,
more
look, if
famous
they
than I am.
accept
Jesus.
these two guys, they're totally going to accept you.
Michael, you should come to
Yeah,
the Trek Long Island and hang out with us.
Yeah, just come down.
Maybe he's got to work. I shouldn't-
Oh,
One of these
yeah.
days I will.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, Captain.
That's
let's-
it.
Let's dock this ship. What do you
Yeah.
reckon?
All right. Well, it's been great. Thanks for checking us out. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. It's super important that you subscribe. It helps our numbers. It helps our algorithms and pleases the YouTube gods, as our buddy Lewis would say. So be sure to do all those wondrous things. Thank you all for all the live comments. Be sure to come back and comment how you felt about Haven from the TNG season. Was it season 1? Yeah, we'll say season 1. And we'll see you guys next time. So live long and prosper. A special thanks to Michael Chen for hanging out and being put
Thank
in
you.
this agony with us. You are amazing, my good friend. And we'll
Thank
see
you. It
you
was
next time.
therapeutic.
Yes.
See you guys.
Check out SpectrumSanctorum.net for all of our podcast merch. We have an entire merch store ready to give you all the things that you loved about our podcast. And get notified on all of our socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and our Spectrum Sanctorum merch store. Follow us today and be sure to hit that bell when you're watching our YouTube videos so you can be notified of when a new episode releases.